So, am I missing? I just want to be absolutely clear because I think this helps inform how we see this investigation. Are you aware of any other evidence at all of collusion between the Trump campaign and the Russian government other than the dossier?
No, none, but there are two documents that became the foundational sources for the Kremlin-Gate narrative. It was first the Steele Dossier, which surely informed the so-called intelligence community assessment in January of 2017. We were told that was the judgment of 17 intelligence agencies. It now turns out to have been the judgment of no intelligence agencies, just a few guys at the top. So that is all that's ever been produced, and it's not credible.
What about, I mean, we know that that dossier was at least part of the rationale for the warrant that allowed the feds to spy on Carter Page. Do you think that other people in Trump's orbit during the campaign were spied on by the federal government?
Oh, I don't know. In the article I just published in The Nation, I asked that question. We need to find out. I mean, why did they, for example, get a warrant on Carter Page, who, on the very surface of it, is no threat to American national security, and then on Paul Manafort? We might assume they did it because they thought these two men would be close, even in the same room with Donald Trump, and wanted to surveil him. But let me just make one point, Tucker. What interests me is not who paid for the dossier. We know it was the Clinton campaign.
Right.
But where Steele got this information. And in the article I write, I suggest that it's highly unlikely he got it from his so-called connections in the Kremlin. Now, there's a big attempt underway to rehabilitate Steele. On the front page of the Washington Post today, there's a story that portrays him as a kind of character out of a John le Carré spy novel. And he may well be. An anguished man without a purpose in life, retired for some reason at a very early age, and for hire. So this is the guy who now enters our life and is used. And the larger question that comes to my mind, but you know the answer better than I do, is how many branches of government do we actually have? Well, I was taught we had 3. But what's been going on above with the intelligence services, and not only the FBI, raises a question if there's a 4th branch of government that's influencing not only our politicians, but because they were leaking to the media, what we voters think when we go to vote.
Do you think that the information in the dossier, and you're a credible person to ask this of, do you think it's credible? I mean, do you think it's real? Do you think it came from real sources? It can be verified. It hasn't yet been, but do you think it will be, or is it made up?
Well, we have to deconstruct it. Some of it is true because he got it from open sources, from newspapers. I mean,
right.
Was it really a mystery? When I was in Moscow over the years, I knew Donald Trump wanted to build a hotel in Moscow. It was widely discussed. It was in the papers. You need to hire a guy for the money they paid Steele to tell you that. We knew, for example, that the oil company that purportedly was going to pay Carter Page zillions of dollars if he would remove sanctions, that had actually been placed by the European Union, not the Americans. It's a preposterous tale, but it was known in Russia, in the newspapers, that they were going to privatize 15% of that oil company. So you could have sat wherever it was Steele or his associates lived, and read the Russian press and gotten about 50% of that information in the dossier.
A lot of our intelligence comes from newspapers. That's the shocking truth, as you well know. Professor, thank you for that. I appreciate it.